My wife's sister lied. I got her pregnant. Years later, she tracked me down desperate, but I had the recording. I told them he did it because I hated how perfect they thought he was. Then she saw what I'd built. Standing there soaked from the storm, Tessa looked nothing like the woman who'd slapped me 3 years ago. Her eyes were hollow, desperate. She'd tracked me down to this remote coastal town where I'd rebuilt everything from scratch. "Adrian, please," she whispered through the rain. "I know what Alina did. I have proof." I didn't move from my doorway. Behind me sat my custom-built home office. 3 monitors, $40,000 worth of equipment. Contracts worth $2.3 million spread across my desk. Everything they thought they'd destroyed. "I already know everything," I said calmly, pulling out the USB drive I'd carried for 2 years. "Take this. Listen to it. If you still want to talk afterward, come back tomorrow." Her trembling hands took the drive, and she disappeared into the night. I returned to my computer, finishing negotiations with a Swiss firm for a 6-figure systems upgrade. Life had moved on. I'd made sure of it. "My name is Adrian. I'm 32 and a systems analyst. This is how I turned their own game against them. Let me explain how I got here and why this moment was 3 years in the making. Back when I was married to Tessa, I earned $95,000 annually as a senior systems analyst. We owned a $340,000 house with $180,000 remaining on the mortgage. I had $45,000 in savings and a solid 401k. Life was comfortable, predictable. Alina, Tessa's younger sister, always resented what we had. While we were building equity and careers, she jumped between jobs and relationships. She'd make snide comments about our perfect life whenever she'd drop by unannounced, which was constantly. The day everything exploded started normally. I was in our kitchen, coffee in hand, when Alina burst in with Tessa behind her, both their faces twisted with anger. "Adrian got me pregnant," Alina announced, adding fake trembling to her voice. I stood there stunned, coffee mug frozen in my hand. My brain tried to process what I'd just heard. Before I could even respond, Tessa's palm cracked against my face so hard the mug shattered on our tile floor. "You disgusting piece of garbage," she snarled. Suddenly her brothers Jared and Marco were there, grabbing me, dragging me outside in my bare feet and old t-shirt. They attacked me on our front lawn while neighbors filmed. Jared punched my stomach. Marco shoved me against the fence. I was too shocked to fight back, too confused to understand how 7 words from Alina had just destroyed my life. Within 48 hours, the damage was catastrophic. My company put me on administrative leave after allegations surfaced online. Someone had posted vague accusations about a married man and sister-in-law that anyone who knew us could decode. My $95,000 salary was gone instantly. By day 5, my landlord texted that other tenants were concerned and wanted me out. We'd been renting out the basement for extra income. Mrs. Ingram at the bakery I visited daily suddenly claimed they were closed when I walked in, despite 3 customers behind me. One whispered, "That's him." The financial hemorrhaging was swift and brutal. I checked my accounts obsessively. Salary was 0, indefinite leave. Severance frozen pending investigation. Joint accounts, Tessa had cleared out $18,000. Credit cards, she'd maxed them out for $12,000, claiming emotional distress purchases. Our house, she filed for emergency separation, demanding I leave immediately. But here's what nobody knew. I'd been documenting everything since day 1. The moment Tessa slapped me, something in my brain shifted from emotional to analytical. Maybe it was my systems background, but I started treating this like a data breach. I needed to gather evidence, protect assets, and plan strategically. I spent my last night in that house creating detailed records, screenshots of every social media post about the allegations, phone records showing I had 0 communication with Alina outside family events, calendar entries proving I was never alone with her, financial records showing normal spending patterns with no suspicious purchases, photos of my injuries from the attack. I also did something crucial. I contacted Jake Morrison, a mutual acquaintance who barely knew any of us but was connected to Alina on social media. I asked him to keep an ear out for anything unusual. "Just curious how this all plays out," I told him casually. I gave Jake my new prepaid phone number and a secure email address I'd created specifically for this purpose. Then I vanished. I liquidated everything I legally could. My personal savings, $45,000. My vintage guitar collection, $8,000. My tools and electronics, $3,500. Total liquid assets, $56,500. Enough to disappear and rebuild, but only if I was strategic about it. I bought a one-way bus ticket to a small coastal town I'd found online. Population 3,200, limited internet, mostly cash economy. The town was called Millfield Harbor, located 800 miles from my old life. I rented a room for $400 per month and got work at the docks for $18 per hour cleaning fishing equipment. Not glamorous, but it was honest work that paid in cash and asked no questions. For 6 months, I lived like a monk. No eating out, no entertainment, just work and planning. I spent evenings in the town library teaching myself advanced coding techniques, studying cybersecurity, building a portfolio. Every dollar was allocated. Living expenses, $2,200 per month. Equipment fund, $800 per month. Emergency reserves, $500 per month. Then, 6 months after I'd disappeared, Jake Morrison sent me the email that changed everything. "Hey man, thought you'd want to hear this. Got a recording from that party last weekend. Your sister-in-law saying some wild stuff about that whole situation with you." Jake explained that he'd been at a house party where Alina had gotten extremely intoxicated. She'd started bragging to a group of people about how clever she'd been. She didn't realize Jake was recording the conversation on his phone for his own protection. He'd learned to document things after his own messy divorce. The audio file was Alina, drunk and laughing, confessing to 3 people. I told them he did it because I hated how perfect they thought he was. He looked at me like I was nothing, so I made him into nothing. It was so easy, just cry a little, and everyone believed me. I listened once, backed it up to 3 different cloud services, and locked it away. Not for revenge, for insurance. Instead of rushing to expose everyone, I made the calculated decision to wait. I needed to rebuild first, from a position of strength. Clearing my name wouldn't matter if I had nothing to return to. Year 1. In the coastal town, I transitioned from dock work to freelance web development. I created A.M. Reeves Tech, hiding my identity with initials, and started small, local business websites for $500 each. Word spread. The flower shop, the cafe, boat rental companies. I charged fair rates and delivered exceptional work. By month 8, I was earning $4,000 per month. By month 12, $8,500 per month. I rented a proper workshop for $900 per month and bought professional equipment. My client base expanded beyond the town through word of mouth and online reviews. Year 2, I landed my first corporate contract, a $45,000 digital transformation project for a regional fishing cooperative. I hired 2 local developers, paying them $35 per hour, above market rate for the area. By December, A.M. Reeves Tech was generating $28,000 per month in revenue. I also bought property. Not just any property, I purchased a foreclosed house for $85,000 cash. Spent $40,000 renovating it myself. I created a compound that included a 3-bedroom main house with custom office, separate workshop building for the business, and a guest cottage I rented for $1,800 per month. Property value after renovations, $210,000. Monthly rental income, $1,800. Business revenue, $28,000 per month. Personal expenses, $3,200 per month. Net worth after 2 years, $340 and climbing. Meanwhile, I kept tabs on everyone back home through careful online research and Jake's occasional updates. Jake had become my unofficial intelligence source. He'd moved in the same social circles and would update me every few months about what was happening. The picture wasn't pretty. Tessa's life had imploded. Our house went into foreclosure. She couldn't handle the $400 mortgage on her $38,000 teaching salary. She'd maxed out credit cards and taken payday loans trying to maintain appearances. She moved back with her mother, Eloise, but the real consequences hit her family hard. Jared, who'd been a high school football coach, got fired after someone posted the video of him attacking me. The school district considered it conduct unbecoming and worried about liability. Marco's landscaping business lost clients when word spread about the family drama. Alina played victim for about 6 months, posting survivor content on social media and accepting sympathy gifts. But maintaining a lie is exhausting, especially when you're naturally impulsive. She got sloppy. That's when year 3 began, and Tessa appeared at my door. How did she find me? Jake later told me that Tessa had hired a private investigator after learning the truth about Alina's lie. The PI had traced my financial transactions. Apparently, I'd made one mistake by using my real name when purchasing the property in Millfield Harbor. Public records showed the purchase, and from there, it was simple detective work. I spent that night after giving her the USB drive doing exactly what I'd planned, working. I had 3 active projects worth $180,000 combined. A Swiss company wanted to discuss a long-term systems contract worth $400,000 annually. The next morning, Tessa returned. She looked broken, sitting on my porch bench like a child waiting for punishment. "I played it," she said when I stepped outside. Her voice was hollow. "I destroyed you. I didn't offer comfort." "What do you want, Tessa?" "I know I can't fix this. I know there's nothing I can say. When I heard her laughing about it, about ruining you for fun." She broke off, staring at her hands. "I needed you to know that I know now." Here's what she didn't know. I'd been ready for this moment for 2 years. "I knew about the recording long before you did," I told her calmly. "I've had it for over 2 years. She looked stunned. "Then why didn't you?" "Because the truth wouldn't have changed what you did. It wouldn't undo the slap, or your brothers attacking me, or losing my job, or becoming a pariah in my own town. I wanted to see what mattered more to you, finding truth or protecting your version of events." That hit her like a physical blow. She started crying. Not the manipulative tears I remembered, but the ugly, broken crying of someone seeing themselves clearly for the first time. "Do you hate me?" she whispered. I looked out at the harbor where fishing boats were heading out for the day. "No, hate takes energy I don't have to spare." What happened next was methodical, calculated, and entirely satisfying. I didn't post the recording myself. Instead, I gave Tessa a choice. She could take responsibility for setting the record straight, or I would handle it my way. She chose to do it herself. 2 weeks later, she uploaded the audio file to a Reddit forum with a full confession. She explained how she'd believed her sister without question, destroyed an innocent man's life, and only learned the truth years later. She included no identifying details, but enough context that anyone could understand the situation. The internet did what the internet does. Within 72 hours, the post had 50,000 upvotes and had been reshared across multiple platforms. Digital detectives connected the dots quickly, especially when someone found the old video of Jared dragging me from the house. The consequences were swift and comprehensive. Alina lost her job at a mid-sized PR firm within 48 hours. Their CEO issued a statement. "We cannot employ individuals whose personal conduct contradicts our professional values." She deleted all social media and moved to another state, but in today's digital world, there's nowhere to hide. Jared, already unemployed since the original incident, found that potential employers were Googling his name and finding the story. His girlfriend left him, and he ended up working minimum wage security jobs. Marco's landscaping business, which had been struggling since losing clients over the family drama, finally folded completely. He declared bankruptcy and moved in with a cousin in another state. Eloise, their mother, faced social ostracism in her small town. The charity board she'd served on for 15 years asked her to step down after donors began questioning their judgment. As for Tessa, she lost her teaching position due to budget cuts. Though everyone knew the real reason, she moved across the country and took work as a substitute teacher for $90 per day when available. But here's the thing about strategic thinking. I hadn't done this for revenge. I'd done it to reclaim my narrative and protect my future. The validation was immediate and tangible. My former employer reached out with a settlement offer of $180,000 and an offer to return at a higher salary. I declined both. A.M. Reeves Tech was now worth more than my old job ever was. Local businesses in my adopted town, some of whom had seen the story online, began approaching me with bigger projects. "If that's the kind of integrity you have," one said, "we want to work with you." Within 6 months of the story breaking, my business had grown to $45,000 per month in recurring revenue. I hired 4 more developers and expanded into cybersecurity consulting. Current company valuation, $1.2 million. I also received an unexpected call from a lawyer representing 3 other men who'd been falsely accused in similar situations. He wanted to hire me to help document digital evidence for their cases. That consultation work now brings in an additional $15,000 per month. Total current net worth, $840,000, and climbing rapidly. But the most satisfying moment came 8 months after the story broke. I received a letter from a teenager who'd seen the story online. I'm 17 and going through something similar at school. Everyone believes this lie about me, and I was ready to give up. But your story showed me that sometimes the best revenge is building something so good that the lie becomes irrelevant. I'm working on building my own future now, instead of trying to convince people of the truth. That letter reminded me why I'd handled this strategically rather than emotionally. It wasn't about proving them wrong. It was about proving myself right. Today I own 3 properties in town worth a combined $980,000. My business operates internationally with clients in 6 countries. I employ 8 people locally at above-market wages and provide full benefits. I've become a significant contributor to the local economy. Tessa still lives in the same town as me, working quietly at a local clinic and keeping to herself. We nod when we pass on the street. Nothing more, nothing less. She kept her word about not interfering with the life I'd built. Sometimes people ask if I'm bitter about the 3 years I lost. Here's the truth. I didn't lose anything. I invested it. Those 3 years of struggle taught me more about business, resilience, and strategic thinking than my entire previous career. The key lesson: documentation and patience are more powerful than anger and impulse. Every interaction I'd recorded, every financial record I'd kept, every strategic decision I'd made during the crisis, all of it compounded into something they could never take away again. I learned that when people show you who they are in a crisis, believe them. Tessa didn't just believe a lie. She chose to believe it without investigation, because it was easier than asking hard questions. That's not poor judgment, that's character. Most importantly, I learned that the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting ahead. While they were dealing with the consequences of their choices, I was building something beautiful and permanent. My name is Adrian Miles, and I'm proof that sometimes when people try to erase you, the smartest response is to rewrite yourself entirely, bigger, stronger, and completely beyond their reach.